Hello and welcome to Mother Healing. So yesterday, what a powerful message that was. It really hit me in the feels too. You know, I was healing so much through that message and connecting with the past and releasing things. And I really feel that yesterday's message was a turning point, especially if you've been doing the whole series so far, if you've been connecting with the real energy of the power of heaven and you're feeling a shift. So it's like we've turned a corner. So even though there may be many, many more, videos in this series, I feel that we're on the up and up. Something has been healed deep within, not only because of yesterday's message, but all the messages so far to move us forward. So you may be feeling a sense of relief today. You may be feeling more at ease. Maybe you released some tears yesterday and, healed them too because you're feeling empowered. So let's see what we need to know. So I'm going to start with a message of grace. So thank you, angels. What do we need to know today, please? The message is your vulnerability, as you call it, may feel profoundly exposing and scary. We honour your fear as we do every part of your experience, but being honest about your feelings is a must. Your truth, however uncomfortable it seems, will indeed set you free. And there is no greater gift. We angels love you unconditionally, and we rejoice in the moments when you allow others to see who you are, tears and all. For there is nothing that could match the beauty and the perfection of a raw, truthful heart as it opens up to more love. Now, isn't that a beautiful message? Because that's exactly how I feel we are feeling now. Being open, being vulnerable in this series and really getting to the heart of what's going on inside, as an inner child, as, a youthful being, going back to the roots of things, healing our childhood and expressing our truth now as the adult that we are now, the spiritual awakened being that we are now. And that brings up vulnerability, and it brings up tears, and it brings up pain, but it also brings up joy and faith. So let's see what we're going to be working on today. So in this bag, I've got lots of channeled messages from your mum in the physical world or in the spiritual world. So we've got 3 questions to work with today. So I'm going to shuffle the Mother Mary deck and see what we need to know. Here we go. 1 card. And then I'm going to pick up a card out of here. What do we need to know today? Thank you, Angel. I've got a couple today. Wow. So the questions, this is your homework. So you can work through these questions in your mind out loud. You can write them down. But these are going to bring in a great healing. And they may also bring in vulnerability. So take a deep breath and get ready. So the first one is, what did you want to be when you grew up? And how does that fit in with where you are now? What did you want to be when you grew up? Now, think about childhood. We all can say crazy things. Maybe we want to be an astronaut or an actress or all these things, but they're not crazy at all because it's all part of the bigger picture. For example, when I was a child, I wanted to be an astronomer, and I actually took my GCSEs based on that. But obviously that was not for me. And, especially at school, because computers, I'm not very good with technology, as you know, anyway. But our computers, we had stand-in teachers every week. So we didn't really learn anything anyway in computer class. All we did was play games and mess about. So I would never have qualified or got the results I needed for that career. But that was something I was interested in because I was interested in far-off places. And I always liked geography at school too. And I was interested in learning about other places. But being interested in astronomy is ultimately looking up. So it's about heavenly power and connecting with other dimensions and other realms. And, even back then as a kid, that's what was interesting to me. And I was always fascinated by Halloween and, witchcraft and, magic and mystical things. Those were the things that really floated my boat as a kid. And how does that fit in with where I am now? Well, I'm connected with the higher realms every day. So think about what you wanted to be when you grew up. Now you can go back to, when you were a child, maybe you did think you wanted to be an astronaut. And that's because you wanted to experience new things and go to new worlds and new places. You always knew there was something else going on out there. You always knew that, there was something else than this life. It's very powerful. Even if you thought, I wanted to be an air steward or an air hostess, that was a big one at our school. A lot of people wanted to be air hostesses. It's about flying and movement. So a lot of the things we want to do are connected with manifesting and looking beyond the physical world. Isn't that interesting? And how does that fit in with where you are now? Well, you are a leader of love and a pioneer of truth. You are a spiritual being. You are a warrior of love. So it will be fitting in somehow with what you're doing. Maybe you're thinking about other things, maybe what you took your GCSEs for, or what you went to college or university for, and maybe that's changed too, but it's grown you and made you stronger. So sit down and think, what did I want to be when I grew up? And what is the naughtiest thing you did as a child? So think about something naughty you did. So this is definitely about childhood today. What is the naughtiest thing you did? And your mum is saying to you here, I forgive you. What is the naughtiest thing you've done lately? Forgive yourself. Isn't that powerful? So forgive yourself for the things you think you've done wrong, any naughty things, anything you think you've done as a mistake. Because remember, mistakes are lessons in disguise. We learn from our mistakes because they are lessons. Usually we make a mistake, we don't do it again. Or we may do it over and over until we stop doing it again. So anything you think you did wrong as a child or anything naughty that you did, you are forgiven. And anything you've done naughty lately or any mistakes you think you've made lately, forgive yourself, because you don't need anyone else's permission for forgiveness. Forgive yourself and it's done. Jesus said, if I can forgive even the most heinous crimes done to me, you can forgive what another has bestowed upon you. So forgive others, but also forgive yourself. Sometimes forgiving ourselves is the most powerful thing we do, because we feel vulnerable, we feel silly, we feel foolish for allowing others to affect our vibration, for allowing our twin flame to hurt us or knock us down. And nothing and no one can hurt or affect us without our own permission. So we have to forgive ourselves for that too. And also, we've got, if you could go back in time, what would you change about our relationship and why? It's okay to say it. Now, when we come out with those words, the first thing that comes into my mind is with other relationships. So this isn't just about the relationship with your mum. If you could go back in time, what would you change about that relationship? This is also about things you may change, with other people. Not necessarily your twin flame, even though you could be thinking about that too, but other people. I'm thinking about in my mind, and I've spoke about this a lot, my cousin Andy, whom I am estranged from. We haven't spoken years, over 25 years. I don't know how many years, but a long, long time. And, if I could go back in time, I would enjoy those moments more, spending more time with him, knowing what I know now. Or, I would go back and spend more time telling my mum and dad that I loved them. And I was grateful to them for everything they gave to me throughout my life. Those are the things I'd go back in time and do, because I wouldn't really change the experiences, as painful as they've been, because they've grown me and made me into who I am. And I understand that. So rather than changing the relationship itself, I would do more about expressing the way I feel and the love I have and the gratitude for those connections. I'd go, because I have no pain around what happened with Andy or anything of those things. If you want to know what I'm talking about, it's a long story. I've explained that for members. But, my cousin Andy was like my brother growing up. And, through his own insecurities and his own pain, his own journey, he moved out of our energy as a family. So I haven't seen him for years and years. And, I love him and I miss him. And I wish he was in my life. But I know that everything happens for a reason. And really, it was my first introduction to a catalyst connection, because I lost him, and that was really a big separation that I learned from. So we learn through the things we grow through and go through. So, as much as I'd love to have him in my life now, I wouldn't change what happened, because it made me strong and it made me who I am. And it helped me to grow and move me ultimately towards my destiny. Being here with you guys, helping you come into your twin flame union, become stronger people, tap in with your talents within, to connect with the angels, and also to meet George and come into my union and live my life. And it's the same with the way my mum passed over. I've gone over and over that in my mind, but I know it all happened for the right reasons. It all happened at the right time. I remember when it first happened, I was guided to a reading through Mystic Moon's channel, and she was doing a reading about, messages from loved ones. And it always stuck in my mind, and I'm so grateful to her for posting that video. And I've tried to find it since, and I can't find it. Remember, everything happens at the right time. And it just popped up on my YouTube feed. And it was a pick a pile from your loved ones in heaven. And the pile I picked was, I didn't expect to go that way, but it was exactly how it was meant to be. And that put my mind at rest, because I knew that my mum didn't really expect to go the way she did, but I know it was the right time. And especially when I was in the hospital room with George was there, and, she was ready to pass. We knew it. The doctors had told us. I could feel it. And I was talking to God, because it was so painful. And I was talking to God. I said, if you're going to take her soon. And within 5 minutes of me kind of giving that up to heaven, she went. It's really powerful. I get angel bumps thinking about it. And I know that I didn't have any control over that, but I felt what was coming. And I was being prepared energetically for what was to come. And I spoke to God, and he answered, because he was ready to take her. She was ready to go. But I had to also kind of be in the energy of understanding that. So this is a really powerful message again today. And I know that you're going to be able to deal with this, because we've got some light-hearted energy here today. And we've also got some very intense energy here today. So what did you want to be as a kid? What did you want to be when you grew up? How does that fit in with where you are now? And what's the naughtiest thing you did as a child? And what's the naughtiest thing you've done now? Think about funny things, and then think about the mistakes you think you may have made. You are forgiven. Your mum forgives you, Jesus forgives you, God forgives you. So forgive yourself. And what's the craziest thing you've done lately? A mistake you feel you've made. Forgive yourself, because you are forgiven. And if you could go back in time to any relationship, the relationship with your mum, or with your twin, or with a previous person, or anyone in your life, or out of your life, what would you do? It's okay to say it. So a lot of healing around that, very powerful. So Mother Mary is saying, Mother, wow, Mother, I open my heart to my mother's humanness and her divinity. Isn't this beautiful? Because that's what we're doing. And I spoke about this a little bit yesterday in yesterday's video, Heal the Past, because I spoke about how it's easy now to understand from a higher perception and point of view why my mum did the things she did. She was doing the best she could with the experiences she was having and, what she was learning at the time. And it's the same for your mum. That's why we can forgive and heal. So open your heart to your mother's humanness. That means she makes mistakes too, and she had to forgive herself too, and her divinity, which means she is an eternal being just like you, and you go on. And we've got pause, wow. So we have to take a moment to reflect, to think, to ask ourselves these questions. We have to take a moment to be able to take time out of our day to do this series, to do gratitude, to forgive, to heal. If you're feeling unsure about a decision, there's probably a good reason. Take your time and think it through. There's no need to rush. Allow your heart's wisdom to guide you. If you feel pressure to act immediately, it's probably a sign that this isn't the right opportunity. Don't worry, because more opportunities will come along and the right ones will fit like a gorgeous glove. So I feel this is also a big message about the way we do things. When we operate through peace and calm energy, things always go to plan. When we rush in or try to control things or make things happen, things never go to plan. So the message is pause, reflect, think, take your time and breathe. And also embrace your sensitivity. You've got the deer there for kindness, gentleness, the vulnerability, being yourself. Your sensitivity, the way you feel, the emotions you have, the way we cry sometimes, it's the sacred gateway to your intuition. It's that special receptive radar that picks up energy and signals. In fact, your sensitivity is one of your greatest assets and the key to your survival. The more you connect with it, the more miracles and synchronicities you'll attract. So pause, reflect, think about you and feel what you feel. It's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to be sensitive, because you are an empath and you are a feeler, an energy feeler, a feeler of energy, a feeler of truth. So allow yourself to pause today, reflect, be sensitive to everything you're connecting with around your mother and around you being your own mother, healing yourself, reparenting yourself, listening to yourself. And these are also healing energies around you as a mother. So if you've got your own children, maybe you're thinking about your own kids today and you're thinking, wow, what did they say they wanted to be when they grow up? What do they say now that they want to be? Because that will also be part of their purpose and their mission and their truth. And remember that, if we're saying, we want to be an astronaut or an astronomer or whatever we're saying we want to be rising up, or even in the world, if you want to be, looking up fossils or whatever we're doing, we are searching and seeking for more. We're on mission. Astronauts go into space, that's a mission. This is mission. We're on mission from the moment we're born until the moment we pass. And then we transition into something new. A new life body, if that's what we desire. If we choose to come back and try it again and go through it again in a different way. So remember, you are an eternal being, but enjoy this day now, this moment now, this life now. Be vulnerable. Allow yourself to feel, because that makes you who you are. And don't be afraid today to go back in time in your mind to the past and heal the relationships. Say thank you to them people. Say I love you to those people. But don't want to change anything, because it makes you who you are. All the pain, the struggle. If I could go back and say to my mum, you need to stop drinking. You need to stop drinking. Yes, I would do that, because she may think more. But, she needed to go through those experiences to experience all the pain and everything she went through to become the person she was at the end, that warrior spirit she was at the end. That legacy she's left behind to help me become a warrior too, through being inspired by her. So be inspired. Be inspired by the people in your life, whether they're still in your life, they've passed over, or they've left your life, because everyone has helped you become the person you are here and now. Have a great day, sending you so much love, and I'll see you soon.